Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned into Pearl Chat. We are at the Lambeth Pier and I'm going to be catching up with a couple of people that are doing what they can do for the youth in the diaspora and in Uganda. We have an issue where youths are lost. Youth don't know what to do with themselves or where to go to get information about Uganda. I'm going to be Mr Daniel Luttaya, Caroline Namugabi and Mr Andrew Marshall. With the youth growing up in the diaspora and the youth growing up in Uganda, we're doing what we can do to see that there is that connection. Right now I've got Mr Andrew Marshall, who has organised some kind of institute for the Ugandans. Mr Marshall, thanks for taking time out for us today.
You're welcome, thank you too.
I understand you've got an organisation. What is the organisation about?
Youth Empowerment Initiative is a forum for youth. It brings together youth leaders and other youth, trying to look at youth problems and trying to look at what possible solutions we can give to those problems. So we provide knowledge, we impart skills to the youth, especially those who have finished institutions and are looking for jobs, and we try as much as possible to encourage them to work, to look for money themselves other than going to beg.
And I understand this institute is based in Uganda.
That's right.
And what effect does it have on the youths in the diaspora?
The effect it has on the youth in the diaspora is we try to network with the youth in the diaspora to showcase, to give a light on what the youth life is in Uganda, because most of the youth in the diaspora do not exactly know how the youth live their life in Uganda. Most of the diaspora think that the youth in Uganda are only engaged in demonstrations, in stealing, in dancing, but there is much more that the youth do in Uganda other than that. So through our association, we try as much as possible to expose, to showcase what the youth do in Uganda, and to try to learn from one another what the youth do in the diaspora and what we do in Uganda, and how the two can share information for the benefit of all the youth, both in the diaspora and in Uganda.
I mean, if a youth wanted to be part of your institute, what would they expect? What does it involve? What is it about?
It is only a show of interest. We have an age limit of 35 years because our constitution stipulates clearly that to be a youth you must be at the age of 35 and below. So all the youth who are interested are free to come and join, and we have a page on the Facebook where we share ideas. It is called Youth Empowerment Initiative, and with that we expect no impediment to any youth who are interested, both in the diaspora and in Uganda, to come and join us.
Speaking of the youths in the diaspora, we've got a lovely young lady that is doing what she can do for the youths in the diaspora. Caroline, what is your connection to the youths, the YEA in Uganda, to the youths in the diaspora?
Oh, our connection is to really empower the youth, the Ugandan youth as a nation, and to empower a healthy cultural identity, to come and join hands together, the youth in Uganda and the youth in the UK, and also to sort of source out employment sectors and also source out the responsibility of identity.
We have an issue where we feel like some of the youths, both, well, not in Uganda, but in the diaspora, lost. I mean, what would someone achieve or what would someone gain from taking part in your institute as a Ugandan growing up in the diaspora?
Yes, we expect the youth to achieve a lot from this networking. One is the sharing of knowledge. There is a lot of knowledge that the youth in the diaspora can share with the youth back in Uganda. Secondly, skills. There is a lot of work we can do on skilling the youth in Uganda in order to be able to be self-reliant and to be self-employed. We also expect the youth to know one another, because the youth in the diaspora and the youth in Uganda do not know one another. We don't know who the role models are. we don't know who can help who. So we expect to achieve a lot in the areas of knowledge, in the areas of information, and the areas of imparting skills and sharing that information for the benefit of all of us.
And Caroline, obviously this would involve you as well.
Absolutely.
How would a youth benefit from what you recently held an event, and what would be the next step after the event that you held, which was for obviously the youths in the diaspora?
The next step, as we said before on the forum, is to do the networking. The networking has now started, where they're getting information and source where the role models are. And also the role models are now coming now. For example, Mr. Andrew is now in the UK. So now we have begun to hold hands. And so this is to better the Ugandan nation and to provide the next generation with tools that will be helpful.
Joining us as well is Mr. Daniel Luttaya, who is getting involved with the youth in the diaspora. And Mr. Daniel, what are you doing for the youth in the diaspora?
Where can I start? We are working in so many sectors, but our main specialist is working within the sports development with young people. We give young people who are really trying to be falling out of schools to come and join us and get skills of real life skills through football. Not only that, but we try to provide them the right stream where they can achieve knowledge into training of becoming a referee through the FA. We give them courses of being a coach, a trainer, and also we try to teach them the real morals of life through football. And we try now to expand our sector by partnering with different organizations like Uganda Youth Forum, which really bring all young people to come and deliver this biggest project of Africans in the diaspora to be managed and delivered by the youth, whereby now they are acquiring skills of managing events in different sectors, journalism, film, media, and so on. Everyone knows all the skills requiring to deliver a bigger event. On top of that, we try to see that they come up with ideas how to share knowledge and go to acquire sponsorship in bigger events. So we think that youth are going to achieve more than anything, more than whatever they want in life, and then from there they can go on to become professional.
Part of the African Nations Cup. And you do have a lot of Ugandans growing up, obviously, in the diaspora that would like to take part. What can they do to be part of the football?
What they can do right now is to go on the Youth Forum for Uganda. They normally see what is required. Normally we post all courses, all those who are having different skills to come and join us. For example, if you need to become a footballer, you come and find Dennis, or you find me, or other committee members. They will tell you the dates when you are training. You come over and then you can join the teams which are already training, and then they can see your level of ability. From there, they select you to be part of the team. But that is in the UK. However, if you have better skills than that, and you have played for the team in the UK, then they can refer you to Uganda National National Council of Sports, because FUFA UK is affiliated to the National Council of Sports in Uganda, whereby you stand the chances of going to Uganda during your holidays, training with the Uganda clubs or academies there, like Proline Academy. With time, then if they see your ability, you can join the team in Uganda. So we are trying to see that our programs are expanded not only from here but also from Uganda, because we are working for the good of the country of Uganda. And that's why we have now a youth empowerment initiative of Uganda becoming our partner to see that we expand our ideas within Uganda.
Yeah. And obviously we've spoken about the football, And we've spoken about the, you know, the initiatives in Uganda that you're doing. But is there anything fun about this? Is there anything that is not so serious? Is there any events that you're doing for some youths that are not involved with the football?
Yeah, definitely. In Uganda, we have a book club already. It's taking place every month. We have students who meet, or young people who meet together at Centenary Park. We have books which we send to them. They read those books and then understand more about the literature of English. And then here they're picking up skills of writing. We want them to join writing competition with the BBC. Then we want them to learn how to make applications or funding application by themselves. We just support them, but this book club is now going to be expanded by Youth Empowerment Initiative with Mr. Marshall.
The Institute, we've spoken about football. We need to have something a little bit more exciting for the youth. Some of the youth might be interested in kidongo or swimming, or I don't know what. What else have you got planned for these youths?
Okay. We have a lot more, and we have done quite a lot for the youth in Uganda. So far, we have done training sessions for leadership training sessions in Uganda for youth leaders. We have also formed up a saving club for the youth.
A saving club?
Saving club, where they can be encouraged and taught how to save money.
Okay.
We have also formed up a youth think tank, whereby all these youth leaders can be brought together to share ideas, bring ideas together on how they really look at the youth problems and what can the government, what can we ourselves as youth do for the well-being of the youth. We are also thinking of a networking session at the end of the year to bring together all the youth leaders in Uganda to share ideas with the youth in the UK, so that we can share experiences, what takes place in Uganda and what takes place in the UK, and how can the two groups be useful to one another. So these are initiatives that are on plan, and we hope that with the partnership of other youth groups in the United Kingdom, we shall be able to realize our dream. Yes.
So what is the next step from here?
The next step is to continue networking. Share pages on social media, make up a plan of action, look for more partners who can finance these programs, and then we have to involve the youth more in their programs, so that by the end of the year we have a big program that we can show to the whole world.
And just one more time, if anyone wanted to get involved with the Youth Institute, how can they get in touch with you?
Go to social media, Google, say Facebook, and go to Youth Empowerment Initiative Uganda. And the
Youth Empowerment Initiative.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. When you get that page, you'll find a lot of programs, and you can express interest in what you're interested in. With Mr. Luttaya, we are going to open up another club for football, whereby those youth who really want to engage in football, boxing, athletics, can come and join, and we see how we can get them opportunities for
Caroline,
training.
Daniel, what is the next step here for the youths? What are you organizing for the youths?
Right now, as we started this partnership with Youth Empowerment Initiative in Uganda, we have started our end of year proposal to start youth network evening in Uganda. We are with a proposed venue of Munyonyo, but it is too early right now. However, we are looking at this event to be one of the biggest to take place, whereby we want young people to showcase their talent from UK, those who are talented in music, America, German, and also those ones in Uganda, to come and perform for their own guests. The guests will be obviously youth and their parents, because we expect to get these young people to come up with funds of which will help them in the future, with a program which is also in the pipeline to start what we call Uganda Trust Fund, Youth Trust Fund, whereby these events which they do, they are cash money generated events, and they put those profits into their account, of which funds will help them to start other businesses. For example, in the filmmaking, agriculture sector, education, expand the book club, to name, but the list is endless.
You're talking about youths in the diaspora right now, and then you're asking them to put money in the fund. Explain yourself.
Okay.
I don't get it.
It is going to be like this. This is a Uganda Youth Trust Fund. Youth Trust Fund, we are looking to see that it's not only youth in Uganda, but all Ugandan youth. It doesn't matter if you're in Germany, you are in diaspora, anywhere. You have to be part of that. When you become a member, you are part of it. When you start the businesses, they can support you. When you want to start any project, it doesn't matter you're in Germany, whatever, they can support, because what you're doing, it is for Uganda as a nation. Okay. Yeah.
Caroline, where do you stand in all this? I mean, we've heard about the event. Can you tell us a bit more about the event and how you picture it?
Well, how I picture the event is to really help to create assertive identities that have the courage to go out there in the whole world to create projects that will help the nation, and also we'll have to do projects that will help, fundraise different issues, to deal with different issues in health sector, educational sector, and also making the youth take responsibilities of their generation in the future. Not only that, would we do this because we'll be seeking for different funders in Uganda. If you're in Uganda and here in the UK and you have any businesses or any project, please come along and join and fund this project. Wherever you are, even if you're a minister, whatnot, come and help your next generation. We really need this to go ahead because we need a healthy generation.
There's a lot of mention of people or youths that are obviously grown up in the diaspora to invest in Uganda, but any youth that you would speak to right now will probably say, why would I invest in Uganda? It's corrupt. I'm not going to get my money back. Basically, you wouldn't be interested. One wouldn't be interested in investing in Uganda. What's your take on that?
Thank you very much for the question. I think it's very important, first and foremost, to give an opportunity to the youth in the diaspora to come back home, Uganda, and make a contribution towards whatever they see in the media or what they hear in the media, because much of the stories in the media depict a very negative picture of Uganda. And this is an opportunity for the youth living in the UK to come back home and give a contribution both in terms of knowledge and terms of capital, and in terms of ideas on how they want their country to look like. But it's also very true that there are many opportunities in Uganda they can invest in. We have opportunities in the real estate. We have opportunities in sports, entertainment, and many other opportunities. But it is up to the youth to form up that group, that legacy, that we do not want to see the corruption levels taking place in Uganda. How are you going to make a contribution if you only talk from the UK without coming to Uganda and make a physical contribution? So it's an opportunity now for the youth, to whatever negativity they have seen and heard in the media, to come and correct that image and see for themselves.
Make a change.
We have made a great advancement in infrastructure and many other sectors, and it's up to the youth now to come and interact with the youth in Uganda and see for
We are
themselves.
talking about youths investing in Uganda, and who have worked there hard and cash, but I might not want to invest my money in Uganda. What can I do instead of putting money into it?
You can bring your knowledge. Oftentimes we put money in front of life. Wisdom brings life, you know, and wise, all those that have studied in the UK or all over different diasporas can go back home and invest their knowledge and wisdom back home and rejuvenate the systems that are happening right now. You know, the service delivery, service quality, it is what is important. In these European countries, the service delivery and service quality, it is built as a teamwork. And so this is what we mean by come and invest in the next generation, because the next generation is all over the different diasporas. You don't have to bring money, you bring your knowledge and wisdom. But if you have money, capital does help. Do invest, don't privatize the tools.
A lot of talk is mentioned about youths investing in Uganda, but as we mentioned, there's some youths that can invest their skills. You know, you've got doctors, nurses, I don't know, waiters, waitresses. Is Uganda, is the government or anybody, is there any such thing, maybe some kind of exchange program where people could be involved in helping develop the country and being paid for their expertise or what they've learned while they've been in the diaspora?
Thank you very much for the question. And right now, this is what we are trying to establish. We are trying to establish the exchange program whereby if there are jobs in the UK and the Ugandans can do, the Ugandan professionals can do, especially the youth, then we get to know. And if there are jobs in Uganda that the diaspora youth can do, then we invite them to do. For example, we have a deficit in the medical doctors in hospitals. So there could be youth in diaspora who have qualified in medicine, but they want to come back home and work from there. So this could be an opportunity for them to come and get employed by government or employ themselves privately by establishing their private clinics.
I mean, mentioning the doctors, did I read something recently in the papers that some of the doctors were being employed in the West Indies to go and work over there? Is that correct? Is it money? What is it?
Yes, it's there are many factors to that. Partly it's money. There is a belief that the government is not paying the doctors, the medical doctors well to be able to sustain themselves. But also it's, I think, a question of discovering what is out there. But at the end of the day, you find that the cost of living, where they go, if the medical doctor qualifies in Uganda and prefers to come and work in the UK, yes, he or she may be getting a lot of money in the UK and getting less money in Uganda. But when you compare the cost of living, you find that actually the Ugandan medical doctor is living a high standard of living than the one in the UK because of the
hours of work,
the price of goods,
the weather,
cost of accommodation, the weather, cost of heating the house during winter. So at the end of the day, really, it all depends on what one is looking out for. But we want to create exchange program and a network program whereby we can share all these ideas so that there is no gap between those living in the diaspora and those living in Uganda. If there are opportunities in Uganda and the opportunities in the UK, we can share these opportunities and our youth get their employment. For example, we have many qualified youth in accountancy and in medicine. You don't need to travel to the UK to do a job in accountancy. You can do it online. So they can be employed in the UK, but when they are staying in Uganda. So this is the network we are trying to establish with the diaspora in the UK to make sure that we leave no gap.
Are you trying to establish it or has it been established?
This is the reason why I'm in the United Kingdom, to make sure that we establish that network between the diaspora and the Ugandan youth so that there is no gap. We avail youth with employment opportunities in the youth.
Gentlemen, today we caught up with a lady and two gentlemen that are doing what they could do for the youth in the diaspora and in Uganda. We have to have that connection with the Ugandans and the youths in the diaspora as well. They are doing what they can do, and I believe the next step is an event in December, but Mr Daniel Luttaya is organising the 31st of May. That is the next thing that we've got, the next event that we've got for the youths in the diaspora. And obviously we would like to see some kids from Uganda, some youth from Uganda as well. Mr Daniel Luttaya, could you give us some more information about that?
This is a tournament for Africans in the diaspora, but different countries come together and participate between one another to win a trophy for the adults and for the young ones. This year, what is so interesting, we are focusing more on young people, whereby Uganda is going to be playing Nigeria, Morocco, and we have Somalia. Those four countries have got their youth team under 15, really gonna tussle one another to see that they win the first ever youth title in West Green Road, in West Ham Memorial Park. And on top of that, we have so many young people who are going to be delivering this event on behalf of the Uganda Youth Forum and Africa Cup of Nations.
We caught up with Mr Andrew Marshall, Miss Caroline Namugabi and Mr Daniel Luttaya, and they're telling us what they are going. They told us what they would be doing for the youth in the diaspora. The next step is for us to catch up with them in a couple of months to see where they would have gone. Ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned into Pearl Chat, which will be hosted by Nancy, and Pearl Chat is all about you. It's not about chatting to quite a few people, mainly Ugandans in the diaspora. Some people do say diaspora, but it doesn't matter anyway, same difference. Talking about Uganda, Ugandans in Uganda, about Uganda. But we'd like to hear from Ugandans all over the world. We'll be chatting to Ugandans in America.
China. Well, where did that come from? China? Is there Ugandans in China?
There must be Ugandans.
China. Things are going wrong.
I know there's Ugandans in Nigeria.
There's Ugandans wherever you go.
There's Ugandans in Russia. The Ugandans there's Ugandans everywhere. So
why are you running off for your country? Go back to your country.
My munners, where are you?
Soon. Stay tuned to this TV show called Pearl Chat.
Pearl Chat.